if you guys are cool with that, we are ready to move on to the next segment, which is UAP and UFO news. This is like one of my favorite parts. We actually made a list tonight because last week we said like we were going to come prepared, and bam, we're prepared. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to mention is that Kirkpatrick Pants is out of here. He's officially gone. He officially carried his box of stuff out the door. And we now have Tim Phillips, who is the temporary director until they get a permanent replacement. So
Colonel. Colonel.
Yeah.
Oh. So yeah, he's out of there. He's officially gone. There's gonna be Tim Phillips sitting in his place until they find somebody else. I don't know what the timeline of that is gonna be. I don't know what the process of them trying to find somebody to replace him is, if they're already in the midst of doing all of that. So we're gonna have to keep our eyes and our ears peeled on this situation, because we don't know who's gonna replace Kirkpatrick, and we don't know what kind of shenanigans this new person is going to bring along with them.
Yeah, to be honest, I still don't hold much hope for Arrow. I think, especially with what they just published the day that he was leaving, you know, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
What did they publish? Tell the people.
The 3 cases that they figured out what it was that was recorded. It was initially reported as a UAP, but then they figured out what they were. The one case that I read about was there was a group of triangles supposedly flying. But Arrow has come back and said that they were just fishing nets being pulled along by boats.
Are you fucking kidding me? And look, there's a boat in this stream as you say that.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Synchronicity.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
Boat?
What?
Boats pulling nets. How lame can you get?
Yeah, what did I say?
Wasn't miners with jetpacks?
It wasn't a Bart Simpson balloon in the water. What? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, they were boats pulling gigantic fishing nets. Apparently, that's what they said was recorded. You know, but I'm not convinced of that.
No, definitely
explanation.
Not. Yeah,
right.
No. This GIF says how I'm feeling about it, like a big thumbs down.
Right.
Like, get out of here with that.
It was
nonsense.
like one last trolling before Kirkpatrick left. You know,
one last trolling. That's funny.
I don't know. So anyway, I'm still not holding too much hope for the future of Arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they get their shit together, and I hope that they start, you know, doing real science. But I'm not convinced.
You're not confident in their capabilities of providing truth and real analytical data of.
Well, right. I think they're still under the control of, you know, the Department of Defense. So
they're still Blue Book. They're still Blue Book 2.0.
Exactly.
A lot more has got to change before Arrows actually turns into a institute that could actually, you know, actually do anything. And that's the other thing too, is they're still inside the their silos. There's no way they can actually go after data. So that's going to be why the legislation is super important on top of it.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Now, I just put a video in the chat that every time we talk about Kirkpatrick, I always post this video. I don't know if it'll play for you guys, but let me see.
With Kirkpatrick at the helm of Arrow, I don't know where it's going.
Just give me a few seconds. I want to play this video.
Annihilated by this point.
Who knows?
Everybody play the video I just posted in the chat so you know what we're laughing at.
DC sometime in the next week or so. I said, Dave, please do something for me. Tell Dr. Kirkpatrick that Dr. Jacobs says, fuck you.
Tell Dr. Kirkpatrick that Dr. Jacobs says, fuck
I think a lot
you.
of people want to tell Kirkpatrick, fuck you. So, sorry.
I do have a PhD, so I am actually Dr. Jacobs.
The last part's my favorite, where he's like, come on, you coward, come get me.
Your fellow Dr. Jacobs says, fuck you.
Dr.
right.
Jacobs.
Take-
Dr.
take me
Jacobs
on,
is
son.
ready
Take
for
me on,
some.
son.
He's
Come
ready
and
to
get
throw
me.
hands.
Come
He's
on.
not scared.
You coward.
He's
You're
not
my new
scared.
hero. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, there's that. Next story that we would like to cover that is on our list is something that a lot of people were talking about, and that is the new Daily Mail article that came out about the CIA Office of Global Access, OGA, excuse me, and basically saying that the OGA is a secret, like, department of the CIA that has been responsible for crash retrievals, okay? Not just like one or two. They've been, having special installments of military that are trained and whatever to go, respond to these areas, collect all of the material, including, biologics and non-biologics and whatever is there, and then bring it back to some place and keep it under wraps. So the Daily Mail basically outed them for that and said that, they've been doing this stuff for a minute now. It's not, it's not a secret, and, that all of this stuff should be brought to light, which I find really funny because that just basically corroborates everything good old David Grush said. And I mean, if people are still trying to say that this stuff is fake and it's all a bunch of tinfoil hat wearing people that are kooky, I don't know. I feel like maybe I should take off my broken glasses and lend it to them because they blind as fuck, people. I mean, come on. If you're still not taking this stuff seriously, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for you. So yeah, that's my spiel on that. You got any comments about the Daily Mail CIA situation?
No, you said it.
Okay, let me catch up on the chat with these gifs over here. We got a couple of faces. David Grush, that's interesting. And then we have a gif from the press conference that happened back in the summertime. All right.
Yeah.
I had to make a comment. When I came across that the other day, I like almost spit my drink out. I was like, oh my god, that is big news. Holy shit.
Right.
It is.
Right.
I mean, I don't know why it took a British newspaper place to be the ones to break the story, but hey, it's out there. I'm here for it, regardless of who says it, as long as it's said.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, duh.
Right,
I've been trying to tell you people this for, I don't know, I'm 51.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've believed in this most of my life. So I don't know. At 5, I didn't know that, but at least probably, 15, 16, I was like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. And, we know, like you said, tinfoil hat wear, blah, blah, blah. And I do feel sorry for these people that don't believe in it. I mean, look, here's something that I kind of like, that it used to be people in the ufology and UFO community would say, well, there might be, and we have some indications that this is where it's going. Now it's no longer, well, there might be. It is 100% definite, like Sheehan talked about, 100% with 100% certainty, like Grush said.
Right.
This is what's going on. We're not pulling any punches anymore, and this kind of stuff is, to someone that's just getting interested in it, I mean, people are waking up to it every day, and that's great.
Exactly.
Yeah, but for us that have been interested in this for most of our lives, it's kind of like a, well, duh moment. Thanks for joining us in this expedition.
Yeah, and the office, the NGA, they have very sophisticated capabilities to get into any country that they want to, whenever, wherever they want to, when they use JSOG to do so, which is a joint special forces command that's run out of Tampa.
What was the I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It's the 1997 crash that happened. It was the one that it was, what's his face? James Fox did a documentary.
Virginia, Brazil.
Virginia, yeah. So Virginia, they had Air Force come in, take the bodies and the material.
Yep.
And they said their superiors told them, don't ask any questions, just listen to them, which was very, very peculiar.
Right.
And what I found to be the most interesting part of the whole Virginia scenario is that they straight up said that the US just showed up. They did not have permission to be there. They didn't request to be there. They didn't tell anybody they were showing up. They just showed up on scene, said, give me all your everything, and they took it back here. We still haven't heard about it, though. Find that kind of funny. But yeah, US just showed up unannounced, no clearance, no permission, no heads up, and took all of the materials, including the scans from the hospitals of the people who did the x-rays on these beings, and you know, including any kind of documentation. They, you know, everybody got the whole don't speak about this, and if you do, we'll murder your whole family speech. And yeah, huge cover up. I mean, how is Arrow still saying we have no credible evidence of any sort of extraterrestrial life when we're known to go and show up in other countries that have had crashes and take the whole thing, take all the evidence, take it all back to the United States? Like, first of all, how did they know it happened? Second of all, I mean, like, I was about to say, who are they to do that? But duh, it's the United States. They do whatever they want. So, yeah.
They also had the mother of the two or the three daughters who saw the gray, and she explained that they had two men in black come up to their house and try to pay them and say, "Don't speak about this." Now, this is not an American this is not an American family. They had no idea what men in black are or anything like that. So just very, very interesting.
Right. And I remember the mother specifically saying, like, I don't lie. Like, I don't know why these people tried to get me to not believe in my own three daughters, but I'm gonna believe my own three daughters. Like, I don't know who you are or why you're telling me that this didn't happen, but it did. Right. And you're not going to tell me otherwise.
It's like, you know, a lot of people discredit him. Maybe he's discredited himself many times, but Jaime Maussan from Mexico has also talked about instances where crashed UFOs have been in Mexico, and before that they can really even try to secure it, the U.S. is coming in and just taking it, including U.S. military reportedly killing their military in order to retrieve the craft. And I mean, it's no surprise.
Yeah. And also, didn't the article also mention that we're able to detect these crafts while they're still cloaked? So first of all, they just outed themselves that their crafts are here. We're detecting them. They have cloaking capabilities, and we're tracking all this.
Yep.
Take it as you will. You know, believe me or not, I'll say it that way. When talking to my entity group, I have asked if they have been tricked by a calling. Okay, let's say I meditate and I'm trying to call upon the entities to maybe do a CE5 event, show themselves, stuff like that. That the government has essentially said that the government can tap into that, okay, and can shoot down these crafts, bring down these crafts, and retrieve them. They are able to tap into our government, and I'm sure others are able to tap into the frequencies or whatever have you during these events, and being able to pinpoint it. I've got what some people would consider woo experiences here at home.
There are such huge implications that come with that. There are such huge implications that come with all that.
Yeah,
absolutely. So they essentially said that they've been tricked before, where the institutions of the governments will sit there and fake call them, and then when they show up, shoot them down. So as of right now, it is, and they've killed some, and they've imprisoned some, and so as of right now, according to them, and again through my channeling, is that they are not coming into our atmosphere at this time. Instead, they visit in other ways. So, which is through the ethereal, is what they've told me. So,
well, I don't blame them. I mean, you know, they don't want to interact, or they don't want to mess with our free will, so to speak, and that's why they haven't just showed themselves to humanity like in one fell swoop. So it's just goes to show that they're more considerate of us than we are of them. I find that's kind of profound. And Silver Girl says that's extremely consistent with my experience. Silver Girl, would you like to expand on that?
Yes. So, you know how I had those very distinct experiences where a being showed up in my cloud picture, another being showed up in a night picture that was during CE5, and then the translucent being I came across in person. So those
Right.
I asked the guides yesterday about that experience, and the guides said that it was their way of giving me a gentle hello, and that it's still not safe for them to like to make themselves known in any other in any, I guess, more, I don't know, physical way. It's not safe for them, so they use other means. So I believe especially the picture I have that I took that night in I think it was May during C5, where there's the being that's smiling. I think that's holographic. I really believe they used holographic technology to show himself in my picture, because it was very distinct. He's smiling and everything.
Feel free to post that pic in the chat if you have it available.
Oh yes, I will. Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to just add a little detail in. So when I was channeling with the entities were channeling through me, when they were talking about just disclosure happening no matter what, the way they came across, when you're connecting, it's really hard to, because there's a lot of back and forth information that's being exchanged at a high rate, but the government in itself, the way that they felt towards it was very frustrated and not angry, but it was like, I could tell there was a lot there. There was a lot of frustration with how things are being conducted. And I think in part is to do with that as well.
Good point. And that kind of leads me into the next story that I have for this week. And that is the fact, oh, here's the picture that Silver Girl posted. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Just want to keep that up on the screen for a few moments. Okay. So the next story on the list is that the NDAA for 2024, you know, we have a whole slew of people that are fighting this thing from the Republican side. You know, this whole NDAA started out as a very bipartisan effort. It's probably one of the first times that the Republicans and the Democrats were all on the same page, both working towards the same kind of thing. But now we have Republican representatives Mike Turner, Mike Johnson, Mike Rogers, and Mitch McConnell, who are gutting the bill by removing eminent domain clause and trying to remove the subpoena power, which basically means that if those two things get removed from there, all these shady shadow government companies that are running these black op reverse engineering programs still get to be the slithery little snakes that they are, creeping around behind the scenes, funneling money into their projects from taxpayer dollars. And they're just going to basically continue to get away with what they've been doing this entire time. I mean, I don't find it to be a coincidence that most of these people on this list have huge donations from companies like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing. I mean, if you follow the money, if you look and see who's donated to them, who their major funders are, you could tell why they're doing these things, because like they're basically just paid marionette puppets. They're just people on a string, and somebody above them is pulling those strings, forcing them to do their little dance. And yeah, it's just crazy how they're trying to literally take away the, and I hate to say this quote because I'm vegan, but anyways, the meat and potatoes of the whole bill. It's like they're trying to take away the thing that would make this actually worthwhile.
Right. Which, in my opinion, that is basically almost an admission of guilt. Right. It's basically disclosure in and of itself.
Yes. If there was nothing there, then it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
So obviously there's a lot there, or else they'd just be like, yeah, as Burchett said, if there's nothing there, then just put it out.
Exactly.
Just put it out there. Hey, we're not trying to compromise national security, which I think they just blanket everything under that, obviously.
Well, because that's how they get away with it. If it's national security, then it's none of your concern. Shoo, shoo.
Well, you know what? I'm not just a resident of the United States of America. I'm a resident of the damn world. And it's my right as a human being on this planet to know, just like it is everybody else's.
Right.
And I'm just tired of the gatekeeping. I'm tired of the control.
Yeah.
And it's about time that we start, forcing this disclosure.
Exactly.
What we have been doing.
I totally agree. And that leads me to my fourth story. Thank you for giving me that little beautiful transition, which is the fact that the Congress people are also super frustrated. We had we had Congressman Tim Burchett, we had Anna Paulina Luna, we had Matt Gaetz, and Jared Moskowitz hold a press conference this past week saying, hey, look, we're knocking on these doors, we're submitting the paperwork, we're showing up at these places, we're making the phone calls, we're typing out the emails, and we're getting doors shut in our face at every turn and every opportunity. They're just flat out telling us no. And they held a press conference to basically bring light to all of that. And I mean, I would like to see something become of all this,
and also to bring light to Tim Burchett's amendment.
Oh yeah, his amendment, right? Which is actually, wait, hold on, I screenshotted that so that I could share the wording of it with you guys.
Just like Schumer had an amendment, Tim Burchett also had an amendment that he added to it back in July.
Right, and Tim Burchett tweeted this. He said, my UAP amendment will be included in the NDAA. My amendment requires the Department of Defense to declassify any documents and records relating to publicly known sightings of UAPs that do not compromise the national security of the United States. So they're trying this whole national security thing as a reason to tell people to shoo and not spill any beans, but they're asking for the ones that don't compromise the security. So if they're not willing to give anything, for me, that just solidifies that they have this thing. Like, not that I need to know that, I don't need them to tell me, but like, I'm just saying, like, for outsiders looking in, just like you guys just said earlier, Grey Druid and We Are One Consciousness, if there's nothing behind the curtain, then why do you have something there hiding it? Like, if there's nothing that you're trying to hide, if there's nothing that you're trying to keep people from finding out, why are you doing all this?
Shameless plug. There's a video of it on my my TikTok.
Hey, plug it. If you can post a link in the chat, go right ahead. Plug it. I'm here for it.
Cool.
Yeah, but so there's been Go ahead.
Oh, really quick. I just want to make a note. There's been a lot of people on the UFO Reddit community that have been really banding together on this, I've noticed. And like a lot of people last week especially were contacting their senators and everything else. I know I did. I know we've all kind of been. That's where our heads been, but
yeah, their phones are blowing up.
And their phones are blowing up so much that you can't even like leave a message. The voicemail box is full.
They said that they have never received this many phone calls on any other issue, by the American public.
Well, because this is something that doesn't just affect one person or one country. This affects the whole planet and all of humanity. All of it. And they're trying so hard to keep this secret, but I feel like the more they're holding on and the more they're resisting, the more they're showing their cards. Just plain and simple.
The more they're showing their cards, there's also like the different leaks that are happening on the side. Like, for example, the CIA having this secret program. There's people on our side that are obviously inside that are strategically trying to leak this in the middle of all this mayhem with legislation.
Yeah.
And I would also like to double back to the notion that I can't get out of my head, and my entities said it themselves, was disclosures happening no matter what. This is not up to the military. I really do think that is. However that looks like, there's something to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't agree more. And I mean, I think that they're going to try and fight this for
as long as they can.
Literally,
as
long as they can. Literally,
like
they're not going to go down willingly and just tell us this, because by doing so, they would have to then admit to the, 9 decades worth of fucking straight up lies that they've been spewing at us. And that also would then bring light to the whole disinformation campaign and how people have been silenced to keep this secret.
Just like what Silver Girl just said, they'll have to disclose the fact that they murdered JFK to keep it hidden.
And that's another thing that people keep talking about. They submitted the paperwork for the JFK files to be released, and what was that, like 9 years ago, and we still haven't gotten them? I think the whole thing's tied together, guys. There's a lot of things that are like lining up here for me with this. And while you're here, I'll just say it now, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe, please click the little notification bell so you get updates on when our content is released. Leave lovely comments down on all of our videos and share this with your family and friends and spread the word about all these things that we're talking about.